And joining us to talk more about their newest project are co-directors Lori Kelly Bailey and Joel Plew. Nice to have both of you here. And Tom Scazafava is the town supervisor in Mariah, New York, where Lori and Joel will be filming in the coming months. Welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Before we talk about your new film, your first film, Mineville, has been released on DVD this fall, so that must have been exciting for you.
Yes,
Very
finally.
exciting. Yeah.
Did you add some scenes to it, or is this the version that we saw in the theater?
I did go back. We were missing, I felt, a couple of segments to piece some scenes together, and I was much happier with the final edit.
Well, since you filmed in the summer of 2010, you've been working on some new projects. Joel, you've written a children's book.
I did, yeah. Jacob the Gnome is about a young boy named Jacob who's struggling with a terminal ailment. And every night before he goes to bed, he's read to by his mother from a peculiar book of fairy tale creatures. And in the story, Jacob will part the text and go on adventures with his newfound fairy tale friend, the gnome, on a quest to find the land of the Dragon King. And at the end of the book, it's revealed to him that the dragon is actually God, and the gnome was an angel bringing him to heaven because he had passed on. And yeah. Also in development on the film.
Yeah,
it's going to be an animated film. We're going to be co-directing that together.
Fantastic. You've also been working on another film called South of Sanity.
South of Sanity, yep, executive produced that. That was actually the first horror film to be shot on location in Antarctica. It was shot at Rothera Base, which is Britain's largest Antarctic base. So it's been doing really well and getting a lot of attention.
And people may wonder, okay, no big deal in Antarctica, but while documentaries have been shot there for some time, this is really one of the first films to be shot there.
It's the first ever fictional film that's ever been shot in Antarctica, and right now we're working on the second.
And it's not a follow-up to it, but it's also shot in Antarctica, and it's also a science fiction thriller.
A science fiction horror, yep.
Yes.
And tell us about the new movie.
It's about based on a six-man crew that journeyed to Antarctica in 1911 for a quest to get to the South Pole. The character that I based after was Lawrence Oates, and although our story is fictitious, these six men did travel there, and unfortunately their quest to get there did not end very well, and all six of them perished. But Lawrence Oates, who we based our character after, was never found. So all bodies were found except for him, and I found that fascinating because you cannot survive in Antarctica for more than, 5 to 10 seconds if exposed. And he chose to leave their tent with no shoes, no coat, no clothing. He couldn't have made it more than 10 feet from the tent, and yet he was never found. So I found that to be a perfect character to base upon because there's such mystery around it. Where did he go? What happened to him? So his soul is still wandering, if you will. And
Kirk Watson, who was the director for South of Sanity, is working on this along with Anthony Powell.
Yes.
So they're going to shoot part of the movie in Antarctica.
Yep.
And you're going to shoot part of the movie, the interiors, if you will, in Essex County, New York.
Yes.
Worlds apart.
yes.
And the interesting thing is, in Antarctica where they're shooting, their bases are so far apart from each other. So I mean, this is basically taking place in three various locations throughout the world.
People might wonder, why in the world would you shoot in Essex County? But you were saying some of the old landmark buildings in Essex County inside look like what they would have looked like in Antarctica.
Even the exteriors.
Yeah, they sent us a lot of pictures from 1911 through 1930 of their medical facilities, their huts, even their churches, and right away we thought, well, this looks so much like some of the locations that are in Mineville. So we called Tommy. And
you called Thom Scazafava, who in turn scouted out a few of the locations, Tom. They described what they were looking for, and you said I'd have just the places for you?
Just the places. We have because of the mining history of the community, we have a good inventory of historic buildings. Most of them were built by Witherby Sherman Company and then moved on to Republic Steel Corporation. We still have the old health center is still standing. That's going to be one of the locations. The old Republic Steel office building, and also St. Mike's Church, which is located in Witherby. So it's it's good for the area. Certainly brings recognition to the area. And again, the hamlet of Witherby is one of those places that you can go to, and it really, aesthetically hasn't changed in 100 years. I mean, all the old mining housing is still there, and so there's some great locations there for films such as this and other films. down the road.
And of course, that area, Port Henry, has such a
Port
great
Henry,
history
great
in film that a lot of
history,
people may
yeah.
not know about. But back at the turn of the century, the 20th century, early 20th century, a number of famous silent
Arctic
films
City,
made there.
yeah. So we, you know, we're excited about it. And Mineville, the movie Mineville, brought some recognition to the area, and that seems to be doing well and continues to
And of course,
to
you
grow.
had a role in it. I wouldn't call it a starring role, but you certainly had a
I'm still
a
waiting for
speaking
my
role.
royalties to come in, but that's but yeah, it was a lot of fun when we filmed that movie, and I'm glad to hear that it's doing well.
Finally,
So.
And have they cast you in this next one? Have they talked about
He has to do a
They have
cameo with
not,
Anthony.
but you know, if,
We'll bug him
if
till he
there's
does
an
it.
offer, I'd probably take it.
You would take him.
Take
Well,
Is there an offer?
Let me ask you about that. Are you looking for a number of locals to cast like you did for Mineville?
Yes, actually, we want to direct everybody to a website which has all of the information that we discussed here, and it will change ongoing. Everybody can
Okay.
find out who the actors are that are already on board, where we'll be filming, and who we need. We need crew, cast. So these are paid positions this time for crew. We would be casting about 30 extras and probably 5 small speaking roles, which we will do in Essex County.
And as we saw with Mineville, you cast a number of locals.
Oh
in
my
that movie.
goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
The turnout was
About
was pretty good.
65.
Tell us a little bit about who you have lined up for this movie as far as stars.
We have Bill Hutchins, who was in, these are primarily horror film actors. He was in Human Centipede 2. And Megan Franich, who was in 30 Days of Night.
Joel, Lori, Tom, thanks a lot for taking the time.
Thank you.